How I strategized my post-vegan recovery. Not a trivial topic because most of vegans will eventually face the problem of recovering after vegan diet, because vegan diet, in essence, vegan lifestyle, substitutes real nutrition with metaphysical beliefs. And you can only go so much on placebo. So at one point, biochemistry, real materialistic biochemistry, will take toll. Recovery after vegan diet is not a trivial problem, and it will likely happen if you're currently vegan. In a few years, it will happen to you. Or there is an extreme case of the health damage that's caused by vegan diet that makes you, it's like more both psychological and physiological influence that will make you never be able to recognize that you could live better. So you will be following veganism even if it goes against your health. This is the extreme case damage induced by vegan diet. But it's a separate issue. Today I would like to focus specifically on how I approached my recovery after veganism. In general, if you look at ex-vegans, if you have impulse to say that, you are just excuses, you're just a coward, you should understand that people become ex-vegans when the only animal they can care about is themselves. And this is a very critical situation in people's lives when their entire worldview changes. This is when they... basically, it's equivalent of, for example, experiencing a puberty overnight, or realizing that your dad was cheating on your mom for the past 10 years, something like that. It's literally when you're faced with a very uncomfortable choice. So nobody goes ex-vegan just because, I was in the mood. It's not like that. It's usually a huge crisis in human's life. So when you think about recovery after veganism causes a lot of comorbidities because it's malnutrition. And this malnutrition usually affects mostly nervous system. It affects all collagenous tissues, including heart, blood vessels, skin, bones, joints, ligaments, tendons, and gut wall, of course, as well, because it's also made up of collagen. So that gets damaged. Bones get damaged. A lot of people develop osteopenia, osteoporosis, compromised bone health. A lot of people run into anemia of different genesis. Then brain, of course, gets damaged because of choline deficiency, partially because of cholesterol deficiency, because of creatine deficiency. There is muscle mass loss, minimal or substantial, because again of creatine loss, because you don't have balanced amino acids. Sorry, you don't. Limiting amino acids are limiting in a plant-based diet. They're also most prone to damage, heat or oxidation damage. So there are plenty of things that happen. Plus also many people practice diets that cause chronic stomach distension and then intestinal wall distension, colon distension. Those things are also harmful. Also on the background of having a loss of collagen tissue. Also, when you are eating a bunch of foods that are irritants for the gut, that damage the gut wall from within, that cause permeable gut, all of that just happens. And you can cause also mineral deficiencies and stuff like that. So you need to recover all of that. Also, some people go on, I will quote my old friend Ryan, woo-woo wacky diet. When they don't eat any fat, for example, when they are on high starch, like cooked starch diet, that is incredibly dangerous for the liver and gallbladder. Some people are on super sugar blasting diet. They will fry their pancreas, they will fry their liver, because liver takes hit by all of the fructose that you consume. All of those things, they can have very strong systemic effects. And then you need to do something with it. The easiest thing to introduce on a post-vegan diet from animal kingdom, because you're also psychologically messed up, is eggs, of course. Eggs will probably be the primary choice for many people to reintroduce, and this is what I introduced as well, along with fish. In terms of strategizing, what's so special about eggs? Eggs are not a trivial food. And when I was coming off the vegan diet, for me, the easiest to do would be to eat egg yolks. And then I learned that egg whites actually contain anti-nutrients, that they must be fully cooked in order to destroy all those anti-nutrients. And in general, most nutrition is locked in the egg yolk. So I started prioritizing eating egg yolks, and I would do sunny side up with the yolks remaining liquidy. I would extract it and just eat it. That was what I was doing, because eggs are incredible food because they contain a lot of B vitamins, they contain a lot of omega-3. So they're incredible food if you get pasture-raised eggs from healthy chickens that eat their natural food. And then the other food that most people opt for when they come off a vegan diet, and that's what I was having dreams about, is fish, of course. And here I started off with the tastiest variety, which was farm-raised organic salmon. I bought that salmon. Organic, like this farm-raised salmon is more fatty. It's easier to eat. And that may be a good entry food for you as well if you're considering that. And then I just opted for canned sardines. I started eating also herring, because herring is not fully denatured. I think they use hot brine to make it when we think about pickled herring, but it's one of the foods that is an excellent source of omega-3. Also, sardines are easy to eat. And another benefit of sardines, why I was choosing sardines specifically, is because they contain the bone. I would use sardines with bones and skin on, and bones contain a lot of minerals, a lot of phosphorus, a lot of calcium, so it was incredible food as well. So during my first month, I was going hard on eggs, I was eating fish, and also started introducing meat. The best meat, as I found out, as I realized for myself to reintroduce, contrary to some like common belief that poultry lean meat is good. No, we want animal fats when we're recovering from veganism. I started buying lamb. Lamb contains a lot of CLA. It's usually grass fat. It contains very good amount of very easily digestible fat, and it also is very balanced in terms of omega-6, omega-3. So lamb, I was making lamb stews such that I can get all the fat in. And then I also started just buying beef. I started researching about beef, regeneratively grown, grass-fed beef. Started buying such varieties and also introducing them into my diet. Month 2, when I kind of like adjusted, started introducing more vitamin D from the diet. Also, sunshine started coming out more, so I started suntanning more. I started introducing dairy because dairy gives you concentrated calcium. I started going with sheep dairy and A2 cow dairy because sheep dairy in particular, it contains proteins that helps to assimilate calcium better. Moreover, it helps to assimilate iron. So it's a very good dairy variety for people who are trying to restore after veganism, like compensate for the common vegan deficiencies. Then when I gained access to that, I started buying also raw cow kefir, eating that variety of food because it also has a much broader microbe profile that helps you to restore the microbiome, boost it up a little bit more. And also it contains enzymes, it contains all of the necessary cofactors for proper digestion of dairy and extraction of nutrients as well. Another thing, I was watching a lot of channels which showed ex-vegan transformations because when you are only starting, when you still see that something is changing but maybe not quite, it gives you a lot of hope that when you look at people who actually regain their youthfulness, who regain their projection, who regain their energy, who regain this factor to them, this power. You see that, it's really encouraging. So a huge shout out to Vegan Deterioration channel, huge shout out to Vegan Phobic channel, huge shout out to Tom Lauris's channel, all of those resources and some particular people who talked about their journey. I'm so happy that those exist because they help you a lot to not lose hope, to not feel completely defeated by that vegan diet. That was another thing that I was doing that was not related to diet specifically. And then another thing was that I did not, when I was thinking about my diet design, I was going pretty intuitively. I was eating foods that I wanted. During my first month, I started craving liver, like terribly started craving liver. I hadn't had it by that point. I hadn't had it probably 9 years or 8 years or more. But I just craved it. My body sent me a signal that like liver. And I couldn't resist it, so I started introducing liver organ meat. So that was a huge help because liver is literally like taking multivitamin that you know will get assimilated fully. Then actually next video will be on liver. We'll do some simple recipe and we'll also discuss what I choose in terms of liver. It is literally the multivitamin without any compromise. Liver is so important for post-vegan recovery because a very overlooked nutrient such as choline is contained in copious amounts in chicken liver. Then retinol. Most people are not capable of converting enough beta carotene into retinol because of their genetic makeup, because of their ethnos. It contains a load of B12 and other B vitamins as well, including folate. It's a good animal source of folate. B12 that will get assimilated, that will get used by your body, unlike the supplements on the background of overall not so optimal diet. So that is a superfood. So liver was something that I introduced and I started eating it regularly. Nowadays, like I eat liver, heart, I eat organ meats along with other meats. And another important thing that I want to discuss here was that I did learn the lessons from raw veganism. I didn't just ditch that experience because raw veganism taught me what foods I should be avoiding, because raw veganism essentially was a very good elimination diet for me. I don't want and I don't eat legumes, for example, because they are highly inflammatory for me. Then I don't eat much grains. I mean that I sometimes eat grains, but I don't eat them casually. They're not like a food pyramid diet. My diet is not food pyramid diet where you have whole grains and some foundation. It's not like that. I eat grains only occasionally. But I avoid them for the most part because I know that they do disservice to my body. So this is something that I avoid because, again, I learned the lesson. My diet is designed basically based on the insights from raw vegan diet, from the benefits and negatives of the vegan diet, and then also with the addition of animal products that I crave and want. This is why I'm very comfortable just eating whatever I want. I want liver, I eat liver. I want steak, I eat steak. I don't like poultry, but sometimes I want poultry, I eat poultry. I want eggs, I eat eggs. I don't want them, I skip them. So this is how it's designed, how it's strategized. Another thing is, as I was proceeding with my recovery and seeing the improvements, I kept researching. First of all, why raw vegan diet, why vegan diet in general was not working, and then how to make animal-based diet healthy. I introduced gelatin. Here's the video with gelatin recipe. I eat cartilage, I eat bones, I eat all stuff like that because, again, regenerating the connective tissue is a priority, of course, after veganism. But also, to make this diet sustainable, it is essential to add certain non-strictly essential amino acids into the diet. And this is what consumption of gelatin, bones, bone broth addresses pretty much. So this is another important thing. Another important point of strategizing a recovery is to actually learn how to make your current omnivore diet sustainable and healthful, because you don't want to just balance, like swing from one diet that was not suiting you to something that kind of suits you but then doesn't fully. So I think it is important to actually research how to make it sustainable, how to keep it healthful, because yes, it is important to follow dietary hygiene when you're eating meat in particular and anything pretty much. So like jumping into processed food diet is not going to lead to good outcomes. It may be good for recovery because you will finally get some nutrients, but you don't want to start destroying something else in contrast with that. So finding your personal triggers, finding your personal optimum is also very important in my opinion. And then on the psychological realm, it's very important to actually listen to your feelings. It's actually important to acknowledge that you went through a traumatizing event. You went through the guilt. You went through acknowledging of your mistakes. It's not easy for any human. It may not be a simple task depending on your makeup, depending on your psychological makeup. If you had to ditch a whole philosophy, if you had to ditch the whole kind of like school of thought, your image, your persona, it's not an easy thing. So it may be also important to focus sometimes, to allocate some time during your recovery to actually listen to your to your psyche, to listen to to acknowledge, to bring to consciousness, to bring all of that trauma to conscious plane. Also go through all the rebellion, go through all the aggression, go through all the anger, because it's normal to feel angry for doing this to yourself, for having stayed vegan for as long as you did. It is totally normal to be angry about it, but it has to be experienced. It shouldn't be suppressed. It shouldn't be just swept under the rug. Also, it is also important to think that, to acknowledge, to understand that recovery after veganism is a long process. It literally the diet that affects everything in the body, your entire metabolism. And if you take a child and put them on a vegan diet, you literally change how their body reads the genes. You epigenetically augment the child for life, forever, on a vegan diet. Adults have more resilience, but it still has a huge impact. It may take years to recover fully, but usually most of the changes will come within the first half a year or so. I'm right now, I'm approaching 5th month now. I'm like in the end of the 5th month. And I still have ways to go. I still notice the metamorphosis. It's insane. And it can be both very celebratory, but then on the flip side, traumatizing when you think that, why did I do this to myself? But every experience comes for something. So we can always extract something good from it. And it's not like, even the bad experiences are not something, trauma and everything. It's not something to necessarily dwell on. It's something to get charged from and see how it can be applied for the benefit of yours and the benefit of others. And you can always find some positive outcomes of any traumatic event, of any mistake you've made, if you try hard. Sometimes you have to try hard, but it's worth it. It's worth putting it in some positive, productive plane, so to speak. And I'll see you in the next video. Consider subscribing to my channel and liking this video. Thank you for watching, and bye.